Hi everyone. Before we start, I just want to let you know that this narration was created using AI voice cloning of my own voice, as I currently have some limitations in doing the narration myself. Thanks for understanding, and let's get started. In the upcoming chapter, imagine this: a man leaves his house to buy groceries, only to vanish without a trace. 5 days later, he's found dead 25 miles away under bizarre circumstances, his body inexplicably unmarked by soot, despite lying on a pile of coal, dressed in clothes that weren't his, with an unusual haircut and a strange green jelly-like substance covering a wound on the back of his neck. Sounds like something out of a science fiction novel, doesn't it? But this isn't fiction, it's the true story of Ziggy. Before I dive in, tell me, where are you watching from and what time is it there for you? I love knowing who's out there with me and where in the world you're tuning in from. Whether you're starting your day, winding down at night, or somewhere in between, I want to know what your moment looks like. It's also a great way for me to get to know you better and maybe even shape future content around your schedules. So go ahead, drop a comment below and let me know where you are today. I'm all ears. On June 6, 1980, a late lunch was underway in a small English village called Tingley. The atmosphere was tense. A 56-year-old man named Ziggy sat with his wife and cousin, stressed about the upcoming wedding of his goddaughter. To him, she was more than just family. She was like a daughter. He had been preparing meticulously for the event, rehearsing speeches, double-checking responsibilities, and ensuring everything would go perfectly. However, things weren't going smoothly. Earlier that day, Ziggy had gotten into an argument with his cousin over something seemingly trivial but deeply personal to him. Add to that his health issues from years of working in a coal mine, and the stress became almost unbearable. In the midst of this chaos, Ziggy suddenly realized he had forgotten to buy potatoes for their meal. Without much thought, he decided to leave the house and head to the store, a mere 3-block walk. His wife and cousin barely noticed as he excused himself, grabbed some cash, and stepped out the door. Little did they know, this routine trip would set off a chain of events that remains unsolved to this day. Hours passed. Dinner was served, cleaned up, and put away. Still no sign of Ziggy. At first, his wife, Lottie, wasn't overly concerned. Ziggy was punctual to a fault, but perhaps he had decided to take a detour or clear his head after the stressful morning. As the minutes ticked by, however, worry began to creep in. 30 minutes turned into an hour, then 2. By the time 3 hours had elapsed, panic set in. Lottie sent her cousin to check the store, only to learn that Ziggy had indeed been there but left shortly afterward. No one had seen him since. Lottie called the police, who initially dismissed the case as unlikely foul play. After all, Ziggy lived in a quiet, safe neighborhood. Why would anyone harm him? Besides, recent developments suggested Ziggy might have snapped under pressure. He had recently been denied early retirement due to worsening lung conditions caused by decades of coal mining. Coupled with marital duties, he cared for Lottie, who suffered from multiple sclerosis, and the looming responsibility of walking his goddaughter down the aisle. Ziggy seemed overwhelmed. Could he have simply walked away? But Lottie refused to believe it. She knew her husband too well. Ziggy was methodical, reliable, and detail-oriented. For someone like him to disappear without explanation felt unnatural. Determined, she organized search parties among friends and neighbors, scoured nearby areas, and eventually involved local authorities. Days passed, yet no trace of Ziggy emerged. It was as if the earth had swallowed him whole. 5 days later, on June 11, a shocking discovery shook the community. Trevor Parker, a worker at a coal yard in Todmorden, a town 25 miles away, spotted a dark figure lying atop a massive coal pile during his lunch break. Assuming it was a homeless person who had wandered onto company property, Trevor alerted emergency services. When medics arrived, they were met with a horrifying sight. The lifeless body of a man dressed in a tailored brown suit, completely untouched by soot despite being surrounded by coal dust. His hair was unevenly cut, almost haphazardly chopped off, and his face bore a look of sheer terrorized, bulging, jaw wide open, teeth bared. Most disturbing of all was the deep gash on the back of his neck, covered by an unidentified green jelly-like substance. It didn't take long for investigators to identify the deceased man as Ziggy Adamski. But here's where the mystery deepens. How did Ziggy end up 25 miles away from home, wearing unfamiliar clothing, sporting a bizarre hairstyle, and carrying signs of trauma that defied explanation? Autopsy results revealed even more questions than answers. Ziggy had died of what appeared to be a heart attack, though the exact cause remained unclear. Acid burns were discovered on the back of his neck, suggesting exposure to corrosive substances. Strangely, his stomach contents indicated regular eating habits, ruling out malnutrition or dehydration. Even stranger, the green jelly substance found near the wound could not be identified, despite extensive testing. To make matters worse, Ziggy's disappearance coincided with reports of UFO sightings in the area. One responding officer, Alan Godfrey, claimed to witness an unidentified flying object weeks before finding Ziggy's body. This led many to speculate alien abduction as a possible explanation. Perhaps Ziggy had been taken aboard a spacecraft, subjected to experiments, and then returned altered beyond recognition. As theories swirled, so too did unanswered questions. Did Ziggy willingly leave Tingley, driven by stress and despair? Or was he abducted by forces unknown, whether human or extraterrestrial? What happened during those 5 missing days? And why did his body appear so pristine, untouched by environmental factors? This case continues to baffle investigators and enthusiasts alike. To this day, no definitive explanation exists for Ziggy's mysterious journey or its tragic conclusion. Some cling to the idea of alien involvement, pointing to the unidentifiable green jelly and acid burns as evidence. Others suggest foul play, though no motive or suspect has ever surfaced. Regardless of the truth, one thing is certain. Ziggy's story serves as a chilling reminder of how quickly life can spiral into the unknown. So, what do you think happened to Ziggy? Was he abducted by aliens, killed by an unseen assailant, or did he succumb to mental distress? Let me know in the comments below. In the upcoming chapter, The Reservoir Mystery, a disturbing discovery. Imagine this. A young boy discovers a dead body in a remote area of Brazil, only to find out years later that the death may have been linked to something far more sinister than anyone could have imagined.
This is no ordinary murder. It's a case that has baffled investigators and terrified the public for decades.
Before I dive in, tell me, where are you watching from and what time is it there for you? I love knowing who's out there with me and where in the world you're tuning in from. Whether you're starting your day, winding down at night, or somewhere in between? I want to know what your moment looks like. It's also a great way for me to get to know you better and maybe even shape future content around your schedules. So go ahead, drop a comment below, and let me know where you are today. I'm all ears. On September 29th, 1988, a quiet afternoon turned into one of the most chilling mysteries in modern history. A young boy, just 10 years old, was exploring the perimeter of a man-made lake in southern Brazil while searching for insects, a hobby he loved dearly. The reservoir, part of the Billings system, stretched across vast distances, its waters winding through narrow branches that jutted off the main body. One such branch brought him close enough to swim across, if he dared. That day, as he poked at the muddy ground with his stick, he stumbled upon something unusual. At first glance, it seemed harmless, a large water scorpion nearly 2 inches long. Excited by his discovery, the boy carefully scooped it up into a clear container, eager to add it to his collection. As he admired his new pet, however, his attention shifted to something strange on the opposite side of the lake. Through the transparent walls of the container, he noticed a group of vultures gathered near the shoreline. Their presence suggested a carcass nearby, but curiosity quickly turned to fear when he realized the remains belonged not to an animal, but to a human being. Panic-stricken, the boy ran back to the nearest village, screaming for help. Within hours, police arrived at the scene, cordoning off the area with yellow tape and forming a tight circle around the body to shield it from prying eyes. Unlike previous cases involving deaths in the reservoir often attributed to gang violence this time, authorities remained unusually secretive. No details were shared with the villagers, leaving them bewildered and uneasy. Even local news outlets stayed eerily silent, as though the story had vanished as mysteriously as the victim himself. But this wasn't just any ordinary death. What lay beneath those waves would soon become one of Brazil's darkest secrets and potentially evidence of something otherworldly. For years, the Brazilian government had attempted to suppress information about UFO sightings, dismissing them as mere rumors or optical illusions. However, these incidents weren't confined to isolated reports. They involved military personnel and high-ranking officials. One particularly infamous event, known as the Night of the UFOs, occurred on May 19th, 1986, when multiple sightings were reported simultaneously across 4 states. Fighter jets were scrambled to investigate unidentified objects moving at impossible speeds, only to watch them disappear and reappear miles away within seconds. These lights weren't random. They exhibited intelligent behavior, evading detection with precision, and leaving behind unanswered questions. Fast forward to 1988, and the connection between these sightings and the mysterious death in the reservoir began to take shape. Farmers living near the areas where UFOs had been spotted started reporting livestock turning up dead under bizarre circumstances. Cows were found drained of blood, their faces mutilated, and circular holes drilled into their bodies with surgical precision. At first, these deaths were chalked up to natural causes or predators, but the pattern became too consistent to ignore. Could extraterrestrial forces be responsible? Or was this merely paranoia fueled by widespread UFO hysteria? When the body was finally examined, The findings sent shockwaves through law enforcement. The man's injuries defied explanation. 4 perfectly round holes punctured his torso, one above each armpit, one over his belly button, and another in his groin. Each incision bore the hallmark of advanced medical tools, suggesting whoever or whatever had done this possessed knowledge far beyond human capability. Upon further inspection, investigators discovered that the man's internal organs had been systematically removed, vacuumed out through the openings in his body. His blood had been siphoned off in a similar manner. To add to the horror, parts of his face, including one ear and eye, had been excised with equal precision. Most disturbing of all was the condition of his vagus nerve, which showed signs of extreme distress moments before death. It indicated the man had endured unimaginable pain, so severe that his own nervous system shut down to escape it. Local authorities immediately recognized the similarities between this gruesome scene and the cattle mutilations reported nationwide. Both victims exhibited identical marks, precise cuts, missing organs, and inexplicable methods of extraction. Could the same entity responsible for the livestock deaths now be targeting humans? Fearing mass panic, the government decided to bury the truth. Media outlets received strict orders to avoid coverage, ensuring the story slipped quietly into obscurity. For 6 long years, the public remained unaware of the horrifying events unfolding in their backyard. Then came the leak. In 1994, someone within the government broke ranks, releasing photographs and an autopsy report detailing the extent of the victim's injuries. The images were graphic, showing the grotesque mutilations inflicted upon the man. When word spread, Brazilians were forced to confront the possibility that alien visitors might already be among them, not as benevolent explorers, but as predators. Yet, despite mounting evidence, skepticism reigned supreme. Stories like these often fall into the realm of conspiracy theories, dismissed by mainstream society as fanciful tales spun by overactive imaginations. But for those willing to dig deeper, the data paints a compelling picture. Brazil continues to rank among the top countries worldwide for documented UFO encounters, many corroborated by credible witnesses. Some believe these entities are conducting experiments, studying Earth's inhabitants in ways we cannot comprehend. Others speculate darker motives, pointing to the increasing frequency of unexplained disappearances and deaths tied to these phenomena. What does this mean for us? Is it possible that extraterrestrial beings are operating undetected, harvesting resources or worse from unsuspecting victims? Or is there another explanation entirely, rooted in science or psychology? Regardless of the answer, one thing is certain: the world is full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. And sometimes, the truth is stranger and more terrifying than fiction. So, what do you think happened to the man in the reservoir? Was he truly the victim of an alien encounter? Or is there a more grounded explanation lurking beneath the surface? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this spine-tingling tale, consider sharing it with friends who share your love for the unknown. Don't forget to subscribe for more gripping stories delivered straight to your feed every week. Until next time, stay curious and remember the world holds wonders both bright and dark. Which will you choose to explore? In the upcoming chapter, The Roswell Mystery, a tale of UFOs and cover-ups. Imagine this. In the middle of a scorching desert in New Mexico, something crashes silently into the earth under the cover of night. No one sees it happen, but within days, whispers spread through the small town of Roswell. People claim to have seen strange lights in the sky, heard unexplained noises, and even discovered remnants of an object that defies explanation. Is it a weather balloon? A secret military experiment? Or could it be evidence of extraterrestrial life? Before I dive in, tell me, where are you watching from? And what time is it there for you? I love knowing who's out there with me and where in the world you're tuning in from. Whether you're starting your day, winding down at night, or somewhere in between, I want to know what your moment looks like. It's also a great way for me to get to know you better and maybe even shape future content around your schedules. So go ahead, drop a comment below, and let me know where you are today. I'm all ears. It was July 1947 when reports began flooding in about a mysterious object found on a ranch near Roswell, New Mexico. The area itself is vast and desolate, perfect for hiding secrets or uncovering them. At first, officials announced they had recovered a crashed flying disc, sparking nationwide excitement. But just hours later, the story changed dramatically. Military authorities declared the object was merely a weather balloon used for monitoring Soviet activity during the Cold War. Despite their insistence, many doubted this explanation. The rancher who discovered the debris described fragments unlike anything he had ever seen before. Materials lighter than aluminum, yet stronger than steel. Some claimed these pieces glowed faintly in the dark, while others swore they saw markings etched onto the surface that resembled no known language. Locals flocked to the site, hoping to catch a glimpse of the mysterious wreckage. However, by the time most arrived, soldiers had already cordoned off the area, removing all traces of the crash. As news spread, so too did theories. Was this truly a mundane weather balloon, or had something far more extraordinary descended from the heavens? Eyewitness accounts only fueled speculation. One farmer reported seeing strange lights streaking across the sky shortly before the crash. Another claimed to have encountered men dressed in black suits questioning him about the event. These figures were not typical law enforcement. Their demeanor was chilling, almost otherworldly. In the weeks following the incident, skepticism grew. Why would the government issue such conflicting statements unless they were trying to hide something? Rumors swirled about alien bodies being transported to nearby military bases for examination. Others spoke of autopsies conducted on extraterrestrial beings, their anatomy unlike anything studied on Earth. Even decades later, former employees of Area 51 came forward claiming involvement in projects related to reverse engineering alien technology. But let us step back for a moment and set the scene. The year was 1947, a time when tensions between superpowers ran high. The United States was locked in a tense standoff with the Soviet Union, both sides racing to develop superior weapons and intelligence capabilities. Against this backdrop, any discovery of advanced technology, especially if it originated from beyond our planet, would be met with intense scrutiny and secrecy. Roswell became ground zero for one of the greatest mysteries of the modern era. Over the years, investigations revealed inconsistencies in official narratives. For instance, why were multiple crash sites identified instead of just one? How did the military manage to clean up every shred of debris so quickly? And perhaps most hauntingly, what happened to the witnesses involved? Many claimed intimidation tactics were employed to silence those who dared speak out. Farmers, ranchers, and even local doctors recounted encounters with shadowy figures demanding absolute confidentiality. One particularly chilling account came from a nurse who worked at a nearby hospital. She described being summoned late one evening to assist with unusual medical procedures. The patients, she said, were not human. They possessed elongated limbs, large heads, and eyes that seemed to pierce straight through her soul. When questioned further, she clammed up, citing threats made against her family if she revealed more details. Her story remains unverified, adding another layer of mystery to the already convoluted case. Fast forward to the 1990s and declassified documents added fuel to the fire. While none explicitly confirmed alien visitation, they hinted at experiments involving recovered materials believed to possess properties unknown to science. Could the debris found in Roswell have inspired breakthroughs in aviation, telecommunications, or energy production? If true, humanity may owe some of its greatest advancements to knowledge gleaned from another world. Yet, as compelling as these theories may seem, skeptics argue otherwise. They point to natural phenomena like ball lightning or experimental aircraft testing gone awry. Others suggest mass hysteria played a role, amplified by media coverage eager to capitalize on public fascination with space exploration. Still, questions linger. Why go to such lengths to conceal the truth if nothing extraordinary occurred? Then came the twist. Decades after the initial incident, researchers uncovered testimonies from individuals linked to the investigation. Among them was a physicist who claimed access to metallic alloys retrieved from the crash site. These alloys, he stated, exhibited properties defying conventional physics, able to bend without breaking, conduct electricity without heat, and repel magnetic forces entirely. His descriptions matched no known element on the periodic table, leaving scientists baffled. Meanwhile, ufologists pieced together additional evidence pointing toward a cover-up. Photos emerged showing unidentified objects hovering above military installations. Radar logs documented readings inconsistent with terrestrial aircraft. Interviews with aging veterans revealed stories of training exercises designed to simulate responses to alien invasions, a clear indication that someone, somewhere, took the possibility seriously. And then there was Project Mogul, the government's official explanation for the Roswell incident. Ostensibly created to monitor Soviet nuclear tests, this program involved launching high-altitude balloons equipped with sensitive recording devices. Critics dismissed the notion outright, arguing that such equipment bore little resemblance to the debris described by eyewitnesses. Moreover, how does one explain the numerous accounts of strange visitors spotted in the vicinity of Roswell around the same time? Among these tales was one involving a group of locals who stumbled upon a craft buried in the sand. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal, reflecting light in ways impossible to replicate with current technology. Inside, they claimed, lay 4 humanoid figures, unconscious but alive. Before they could investigate further, armed personnel arrived, ordering them to leave immediately. Days later, the same individuals received visits from men in dark suits. warning them never to discuss what they had seen again. By now, you might wonder whether the truth will ever come to light. Official channels maintain steadfast denial, attributing all anomalies to misinterpretations or classified programs. Yet, belief persists among millions worldwide who refuse to accept such explanations at face value. What if the answers lie hidden in plain sight, buried beneath layers of red tape and disinformation? Consider this. Humanity has long gazed upward, searching for signs of intelligent life elsewhere in the universe. From ancient carvings depicting star charts to modern satellite imagery capturing unexplained flashes in deep space, the desire to connect with the cosmos runs deep within us. Could Roswell represent the moment we finally succeeded, only to suppress the revelation for reasons unknown? Today, Roswell stands as both a symbol of hope and paranoia. For believers, it marks proof positive that we are not alone. For skeptics, it serves as a cautionary tale about jumping to conclusions without sufficient evidence. Regardless of perspective, one fact remains undeniable. Something extraordinary happened in that desert all those years ago, and the world will never stop wondering what it truly was. So, what do you think? Was Roswell simply a misunderstood accident? Or did it herald the arrival of visitors from another world? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed unraveling this cosmic mystery, consider sharing it with friends who share your passion for the unknown. Don't forget to subscribe for more spine-tingling tales delivered straight to your feed every week. Until next time, stay curious and remember the stars hold secrets waiting to be discovered.